hardest character to cast might have been Maruko. But with that being said, you know, and then Yanagisawa, there's another one. You remember him, Kid and Play Hair? But then, of course, what ended up coming around with that was that's how I met Wendy Powell, who is, of course, absolutely incredible actress, and then Travis Willingham, who, I mean, right? That's what I do whenever I say it. I mean, I hear his name, and, you know, how did I go again? Oh, I'm in a conference meeting. Never mind. Yeah, say those two. Yusuke.
I have to ask this to pretty much every Shonen Jump main character, voice actor person. Would you say that your character says the word bastard a lot?
No more than he uses the word "the."
If I asked Johnny that same question, he's like, maybe a little more than the word donkai.
You know, to be honest though, I think it's safe to say that bastard is all over anime, everywhere.
That's why I have to ask it.
They like, I think they like that word.
You have a red head.
Me too.
Sorry, I'm just wondering, do you know what bastard is translated from?
I'm not sure what it's translated from, but I feel like the term in and of itself is very appropriate for Yusuke to say, considering he has, well, he has a father at the end of the show, but for the most part he doesn't.
It's not even his father.
What is it? No, I mean, what, so do tell, or do you have the answer? It sounded like you were quizzing me.
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
I'm not sure. I mean, it could be Baka or...
Well, the thing is that there's not, I don't know, and I could be totally off on this. We could use some, you know. I believe that a lot of the cursing, and I can certainly say for the YYH show, a lot of the cursing came in when I was in the booth. That we were trying to provide a little bit more to push it a little bit more, and that was also a big move for Funimation at that time. Around we were DBZ, you know, all the time. Case Closed was just getting started. You know, this was supposed to be kind of another one of these, you know, Toonami kid shows, and so there was a lot of, is this really what we want? But I just felt like it was so right for the character. So there you go.
Okay, I gotta add to that.
Oh yes, please.
You say that you're like you added the cursing?
To some degree. I mean, in Japanese, he's cursing, but in Japanese, the curse words don't translate to English curse words.
Yeah, I know that especially in the YYH show, you don't really have to say that you're adding it. You can't get in trouble for adding cursing in that show. Because I see, like, in every other episode, he flips someone off.
Yep. It fits the character. There's no doubt. I believe you may have an Alphonse on your head.
Yes. I noticed that there's like, I still remember watching back in the day when they had two different versions of the show. You had the censored version and the regular version. And I want to know, what was it like having to go in on repeated occasions and have to redo the lines for the censored version?
As much, I would probably run around what you would think it would be. Oh, we have to go do it. And most times we would record those lines as we recorded the uncut line. But what it would be is always, okay, you read the regular line, and then, okay, one take, grab the other one, and you're, you know, whatever. You made me mad instead of pissed off. Because we jump through it. And, I mean, I'll certainly go out to say that I'm sure some of the edited lines did not quite fit the flaps as well as the uncut lines. But we just, I mean, you know, we jumped through them knowing that it was going to be a, you know, simply for broadcast, and that your longer lasting consumer version would be the DVD. So we spent probably a little bit more time on that one. But at the same time, you kind of work the timing out with an uncut line. Then you go back and grab an edited line, and you just got to fit it to the same time. So.
I was just curious, like, because, like, you know, obviously there's a lot of, like, fighting, violence, and stuff on the show. And so I was kind of wondering, like, how did you handle, like, when, like, Yusuke had, like, a swollen cheek and he had to talk, like, he was all swollen and beat up, essentially. Like, how did you talk differently, or how did you, like, is there's, like,
I punched myself in the face. I'll have Jerry do it for me. No, you come up with different things, like when a character's eating food, you can get your knuckle in your mouth a little bit, you know, I mean, there are little tricks that you could do here and there.
A lot of times I'll flip my tongue. So that way I have to, that way I sound like this when I'm talking.
So those are some little tricks that folks could do.
So it's been a long time since I've watched YYH show.
Have you bought the Blu-rays? I'm sorry.
Have we mentioned they're out on Blu-ray yet?
I don't think so.
The episode where the people who had the supernatural powers and the one could control, like, there was the game of the words,
Yeah.
and in Japanese it eliminated by hiragana.
Yeah.
What were the challenges in doing that and switching it to English?
Everything.
The answer is yes.
Man, it must have taken the eons to figure this out.
Well, luckily, we had two really positive things going. Number one, the first incredible part of how to fix that problem is called get a Jared Hedges. And the second way to fix it is get another writer and cast him in the role as Kurama. And then you can pretty well guarantee. I mean, the idea was that we were going to, of course, paint, or what we call paint, rotoscope, go through and change all of it to the English alphabet, 26 letters, and try to do it that way. That's how we wrote it and played it through that way. But then, I think by the time that episode had started coming out, the edited episodes were starting to be pulled back. Cartoon Network was airing it either later and later, or you could call it earlier and earlier in the morning. And so there was less of a need to do as much paint work and rotoscope work on it, because that's an incredible amount of work. If you think about for what a rotoscoper has to do, I know most of you probably hate edits on a broadcast version, but imagine the amount of pain that goes into it. For every 1 second of footage, there are 30 individual frames that have to be painted in order to change any of the animation. So for instance, when, using a different example, when Kurama goes to Gourmet and snaps his head off at the jawline, Cartoon Network felt like that was a little much. And so they said it, and it's funny, it's one of these things, oh, we're fine that he loses his head, but can you not have it be right here? So we had to go through and paint the jaw out and have the older brother Tagoro come out of his neck. But again, 30 times for every 1 second that you saw that. You can go back there and count how many seconds and then multiply that by 30 and you'll start to figure out just the amount of workload that one single rotoscoper had for 6 weeks probably. I mean, it's a, so getting back to your question about the kanji writing and that, yeah, it was pretty nightmarish. I thought Jared did a really good job. I had the easiest job of all for fixing it. I just simply had to record the voices and make sure that it matched up with the, you know, the timeline and the letters beginning to glow and then get X'd out. So, but I felt like we got through it pretty well.
Oh yeah, it was very seamless. I really enjoyed it.
I
Yes.
just like the episode with Kurama in it.
Who doesn't?
Justin is, do you think Funimation will ever get the other movie of Yu Yu Hakusho?
My fingers are crossed. I bet you if everybody who was a fan of Yu Yu Hakusho would bombard Funimation's websites and message boards with "Get this Poltergeist Report movie," maybe that would help. Maybe that would help.
Oh.
But yeah, I would absolutely love to be able to complete the, you know, the whole thing.
That would be wonderful.
I'm ready for them to port the PS2 game over to a PS3 and we could go back and redo that.